We've had problems in the past with back end, it trying to pull the drawbar out. All these bolts, there's a massive great ring of bolts come loose, and they're real awkward to get to tighten up, but we spent a lot of time tightening the buggers up last time, thread locking them, and we hadn't had no bother for a while, but you just have to keep an eye on it. I mean, you can see, look at the pinhole in drawbar wearing, and she's starting to cut a bit of an hole there. You know, because a lot of our the solos on drawbar, you see, and it gives it a bit of pain. But yeah, I don't know how much diesel is at the moment, but you'd make a bit of money if you didn't have a diesel bill, would you? A diesel and chemical bill. If you didn't have them two bills, you'd make a bit, wouldn't you? But if you don't put it in, you don't get it out, do you? I mean, it's all right min-tilling and direct drilling and one thing and another, but I think you need to do a bit out that soil. I've sort of changed my path a little bit. I was going cover crops and low cultivations, but it bit us on arse, to be honest. We ended up with a burden of grass weeds and rubbish and lack of drainage as well. So the Vale of York I don't think is suitable. We're spending a lot of time mow ploughing this year because, well, to try and keep it drier, that's the main reason, and to enable us maybe to get on at spring a little bit earlier if the land's a bit drier, because we freshly drained this field. This used to be the wettest field on the farm. In fact, we buried a 2650 John Deere tillaging one year, and we had to walk it out on sleepers. It was that wet. It was just like blancmange, and it had gone. That's back in the day, Christ. And we freshly drained it, and it transformed the field. It's quite productive, but we struggle with grass weeds this time, ryegrass and blackgrass, and don't know whether our residuals broke down or whether the chemicals aren't strong enough. I don't know, or whether the season washed the chemicals away. But what we're doing, it's drained that way, and we're crossing it, so all that, and that puts a tube in. That puts that bullet behind the leg, puts a tube in, and it feeds the drains, if I'm making any sense. That's a back end site, isn't it? It feels very back endish. Actually, in the air, it feels like you could nearly search for a jumper or a coat. A big gaggle of geese coming over, whether they're on the move to another feeding ground, or whether they've come in to overwinter in Britain. I don't know. I don't know what the cycle of geese is, really. Have they come from abroad? But yeah, he's making a job. We are doing it all. This on our soils are very varied, and there's like a load of real nice gravel at the top here. It's pointless doing that. It's just and then it drops off onto some heavy going, and he's putting a mole every 3.5 metre. And then he'll do right to the bottom. There's a little bit at end what we're going to miss, because drains are quite shallow there. And yeah, like I said, and then we're going to leave it Phil's put muck on, and then we're going to leave it a day or two, and then probably run Simber over it and solo it, and just leave that till spring. Leave it nice and open, and hopefully we'll go in with it destined for spring barley. And if it's a decent spring, we'll get it in sort of early part of March. It wants to be drilled, because bloody hell, this land can produce some good spring corn if it goes in well and has a good long growing time. Right, I'm moving irrigator again. We've just been doing some grass, And now I've been instructed carrots need doing again. That's 5th time, which I ain't bothered. We get paid and I quite like the job. But yeah, it must be very costly growing carrots in a dry time. We had some real strong winds the other day and it knocked a few plants of maize down. Christ, it's introduced, we don't know whether it's deer or badgers breaking the maize down on this headland and eating the cobs. You know, they're making a bloody mess, to be fair. But I think it's badgers myself. Phil reckons it's deer, but we've had a lot in the spring oats and the winter wheat. We've had a lot of tracks and we've had a lot of tracks and damage in the cereals this year. Well, whether it's badgers, I don't know. We shan't let them 3 out now. I was the 4 of the maize last year. We've maybe got a bit of a badger problem, I think. We use JCB to tow out because it's just set at right wheel, well, 72 inch to be fair. So most tractors are, but it's on quite narrowish wheels. It don't make a mess of their carrots. It doesn't seem 2 minutes since we last watered them. The water's going nowhere on this powdery sand. Which I ain't bothered, I get paid for it, but it must be costing them a fortune at the moment. What with them irrigating their own carrots, paying people to irrigate where they've got the facility. But the beautiful carrots, look, I always pick one. I always pick 1 or 2 to gnaw on when I'm pulling out. And the beautiful carrots, they're really bulking up fast. In fact, fieldsman Andy has been today, and there's a possibility that they might be starting to lift a few within 3 or 4 weeks. So it'll give us a chance to get it in with wheat, because they are a bad break crop. But this land, if you get a good growing time in spring, it can produce a lot of wheat, but suffers from drought in a dry time. Morning, it's the 6th of September. I'm off on a irrigation pump hunt. It was blew up yesterday, so someone's lent me one, but I have to go sort of do a bit of a recce to find it before I send someone for it, or go for it myself. In fact, I'll probably go for it myself, because our Ollie's leading compost from Rydale Organics. He's bringing compost in, so, and Phil was hedging yesterday, but we've got the forecast has turned a bit drippy, not settled at all, and we've got some silage to make, a field of spring wheat to cut. Whether we get that just mopped up later on, I don't know, but Ollie's leading muck, as I said, and we've got some silage to cut and wrap up, so all sorts of little tying up jobs, but not really pressing. But there's been a nice drop of rain to get our stubbles livened up. Everything's starting to green up. The volunteer stuff has been there nearly since we cut the corn, but grass weeds have been laid dormant. It's been too dry for them anyway. They've had a bit of a strike now, so because there is a few people drilling wheat locally. In my opinion, it's too early, but if the weather breaks, it's the right thing to do, because our early drill stuff last year produced more but was a little bit mucky. But we're just trying to break the grassweed seed bank, aren't we? We're trying to eliminate all them seeds, and if they grow and we kill them, that's it for them. We've had irrigation problems among other problems. We've had mower problems. Anyway, back to the irrigation problems. That one, oh god, I don't know what happened. Engine perfect, no problems whatsoever. Pump, Vibration, we've got vibration, I don't know what it is. So anyway, I'm investigating at this time of year because Andy, who we work with the carrot company, he reckons it might be last time we do them anyway, so the talk about lifting them before long, and this will be last pull. The growing season's nearly over, but he's lent us this old girl, and he did say in conversation, he says go get it, Richard, it's at a lagoon wherever, and off I went this morning. He says she's a noisy old girl though, and yeah, he's not wrong. But the pump, Christ, the pump must be really strong. But yeah, noise. Whew. Go get your earmuffs. And we've had to put an alternator belt on it. Yeah, there was no alternator belt on it. I don't know how they'd run it. So yeah, you listen to this when I fire her up. You sit there a minute. Let me prepare. Irrigation pull of 2024. Well, we hope anyway. On about rain tonight, and Andy, the fieldsman who looks after us, he says this is probably the last pull, so the last time we want some watering. So the job's been a good one really, apart from we blew our pump up. Yeah, they're lovely carrots, they really are. They're bulked up well, because they struggled at first. I don't know whether land was cold or what, but they were very slow growing, and all of a sudden they've just bulked up very fast. We really don't know why the dog does that. We let her out of vehicles and she bolts back in your tyre prints. Even if you've gone round and round in yard, she goes round and round, sort of sensing where you've been. It's a bit bizarre really. So, right. Very noisy, but anyway, says it's been like that for 10 years. Oh, bloody hell, that pump is noisy. Right, Saturday night. I don't think we're off out for a drink, but I hope there's something good for tea. So from a Rufford farm in East Yorkshire, bye for now. Oh, Nick, who called earlier on, give us a ring about that reel. I'm interested if it's the right money and if it's any good. So yeah, give us a ring, and nice to see you.